Welcome to the next lesson. In this lesson, we'll be covering some very important things such as patterns that you'll find within the Forex markets, channels, zones, indicators, as well as a few other things. This lesson is going to be very important. You're going to learn a lot of key information within this section that will not only teach you how to trade, but help you find profitable trades, as everything that we're going to do and cover in this section is going to show you where exactly to find a profitable trade. So let's dive right into it. So going more in depth, there are three types of patterns that we are going to be looking at within this section. Just getting you ahead before we get started with it. The first thing that we're going to be doing is kind of looking at continuation patterns, which is exactly kind of what it sounds like. It's a pattern that forms within the market that signals a continuation. So if a trend is heading in an uptrend and you find a continuation pattern form, it's going to show you that uptrend is going to continue. Vice versa goes downtrend and find the continuation pattern, downtrend is going to continue. Then the next type of pattern that we're going to look at is a reversal pattern. And it means exactly what it means. It reverses in the market. So if there's a downtrend, it is going to be sent back into an uptrend if we find a reversal pattern. And same goes vice versa for that. If there's an uptrend and we find a reversal pattern, then it's going to be sent into a downtrend. And then the third pattern that we're going to look at is called a bilateral pattern. And essentially what that means and what type of pattern is a pattern that neither continues or reverses only. It can do both. So it can either continue the trend or it can reverse the trend. So it's a 50-50, and the reason it's bilateral and the reason we're going to cover this is because when you're finding these patterns, that's not the only pattern that you're going to be looking for. You're going to be looking for other things to add in, to use with that pattern to signal and tell you whether it's going to be a reversal or a continuation within the pattern or within the markets, if that makes sense. Now you have to remember, everything that we're going to cover in this section is going to have its very own characteristics that make it up, essentially. So if it doesn't have one of those special characteristics, that might not be the pattern that you think it is. So that's just as simply as when you just would not trade it. The patterns that we're going to look at and the different indicators that we're going to look at and zones, everything that we're going to cover in this section is going to tell you whether you're going to buy or sell the pair, or if the trend's going to end and it's going to switch, or if it's going to continue. So that's everything that we're going to cover. Like I said, this section is probably one of the very most important sections that we'll be going over here within the Market IQ Academy. So make sure you guys are taking notes. Jot down everything you possibly can. If you have to, run through this entire section once. Watch all the videos, look at the PDF files, take the quiz if you want, before taking notes. And then once you've gone through all the videos, come back and take notes. This way, the first time you're going through, you're kind of just retaining the information and you're not missing every little detail trying to write down notes. So if you want, run through the whole section first and then come back and take notes and pause. And highly, if there's something that pops up on the screen, whether it's a drawing or a word or anything like that, make sure you guys take notes on that, because that's something that's very important as well, since we highlighted it directly within the video. Now, like I said earlier, knowing these patterns is going to be very, very important, because this is what's going to tell you how to trade and show you what pairs to buy or what pairs to sell. So it's very important. Now remember, below this section of the videos, there's going to be PDF files. We have covered every single pattern formation that we had covered in the videos within these PDF files, more in depth, and there's more illustrations and drawings that you can follow along with. So if you're more of a visual learner and you want to actually look at the patterns a little bit more as well, then by all means check out those PDF files, download them, do whatever you have to. By all means, open the PDF files, just read through them, check them all out, and I highly suggest grabbing your notebook and then drawing each pattern formation out. Do it a couple times if you have to. Grab some scrap paper, do it 10 times. It'll help you remember and learn these patterns. Now later when you're trading, it's also going to be very important that you have these pattern formations in that PDF file in front of you, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on your computer, whether it's on a piece of paper that you have, or whether you printed the PDF file out showing the patterns, because then when you're looking in the markets and you might see a pattern, you can easily grab your notebook or your phone or something and then check. You can see, oh, it doesn't line up with that specific characteristic of that pattern. That must not be it. Or if it does, then you can see and you can validate that pattern, and it'll show you that that's what it is. And now you can trade it, and you're more likely to get the trade right. So make sure you guys are taking notes with all these patterns, and it'll just help you in the long run. Now, like I said, remember also, check out all the PDF files. Once again, I'm going to mention that a million times because it's highly important. They're value-packed PDF files. And also below those PDF files, we have the quiz. That quiz is going to be very beneficial for you and for us, because we'll see what you learned in this specific lesson. That way we can see what we need to work on with you directly. You're now ready to begin this section.